Okay, good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss the topic teaching for creative thinking and understanding. Before starting this topic, first of all, we must understand what is creativity. So, creativity is something which is related to uh, its ability to generate a thought or idea that is completely new, that is very useful. Another thing which is to be understand here is what is creative thinking. So creative thinking is the skill that enables you to come up with original ideas, with new ideas or the innovative ideas, and that is very important when a teacher is implementing the curriculum. Now, these are the learning objectives of today's topic. The student will able to know the meaning of creativity. What is creativity? The student will be able to know the concept of creativity. The student will able to know the features of creativity in schools. The student will able to know the procedure of fostering creativity thinking in schools. Now, what is that fostering? Developing. How a teacher can develop creative thinking in schools in the classroom teaching. The student will able to know the procedure of creativity can be encouraged in the classroom. How a teacher, which activities can be used by the teachers so that creativity can be encouraged in the classrooms. Now creativity in school education, David. In the midst of child lies creativity. The long-term plan often fails to see the impact of day-to-day problems. So we should focus on day-to-day problems when we are focusing or when we want to encourage creativity in the students. Now, features of creativity in school. Being a creative teacher is only part of process. Means when we are talking about what is creative teacher, a creative teacher is that who is involved in the process of creativity in the development of a new thing or a new thought. Teacher need to demonstrate creative thinking means the teacher should enable the students, the teacher should develop the skills of creativity in the students. Deep creative thinking can only be fostered if preparatory skills and knowledge have been understood. If the student have the previous skills and the knowledge of something, then only creative thinking can be developed in them. Play is an important part of creativity. Certain questions stimulate creative critical thinking means certain questions, some type of questions stimulate increases the creative thinking among the students, what is right and what is wrong. Creativity can be recognized means a teacher can easily recognize that creativity has been in that child or in that learner. Now, how is creativity defined? Many definitions, common elements means many educationists, psychologists have defined creativity in different manner. But after discussing all the definitions, certain elements which are common in each definition, and these are that mental activity intent on producing something means a new thing will be produced, a new idea will be there, an innovative idea will be there. Appropriate, which is right, correct, meaningful, useful, new, a new one, novel. The ability to think in novel and useful way is one of the defining feature of the human species. Now, what is that? New, you have to create something, and it should be new, and as well as it should be useful to the other individuals. Characters 2002. Anyone who is imagining how things could be other than they will be willingly creative. Anyone who is imagining means imagination should be there when we are talking about the creativity. How things could be other than they are be thinking creatively. How things could be other means we are talking about a new way of things, a new innovation about the things. Then they are thinking creatively. When we are thinking, we are saying that we are thinking in a creative way means we should think of another way of using that particular object. Now, creativity is going beyond why. When we are going beyond why and asking why not, it cannot be done. Why it cannot be done in like that way? When we are thinking in this way, then we are in the process of creativity or the creative thinking. about asking that questions that haven't been asked yet. Means we are asking those questions which have never been asked before, constantly saying what if I will choose that, what will if I choose the path B, what will happen if I choose the path C. So creativity will be there when we are constantly, means continuously asking what will happen if I will choose that thing. Setting constant challenges means we are setting continuous challenging challenges for us. Never being afraid to fail means when you are in a creative process, you might be fail in the first day, but you must not be afraid to fail when you are in the process of creating something new. Now, what is creative thinking? Creativity is the ability to generate a thought, means a new thought will be generated, or an idea that is completely new, or an idea that is unique, that is not used before. Appealing and useful. And second thing, it must be useful. That what we are creating must be useful to other person. Creative thinking is a skill that enables us to come up with original and unconventional idea. Means you cannot follow the ideas of other, you have to think or produce your own idea, your own thought process. Creative thinking is a skill that enables you to come up with original and unconventional idea, means novel ideas, a new one ideas that has not been used so far. It drives innovation, a new thing will come up. And progress is in almost every field. We cannot say that creativity can be limited to medical field or to the field of law. It is related to every field, means to the field of education, to the field of medical, to the field of pharma, everywhere creativity has been there. Creative thinking expresses itself in a multitude of ways, itself in multitude of ways, mean in various ways creative thinking has been expressed. A graphic artist create a brilliant logo. A graphic artist means a painter has created a brilliant logo, that is again its creativity, a new thing will come out. A lawyer discover an out of the box strategy to defend her client, means he is using a innovative thought to uh, defend her client. A photographer capture an extraordinary frame when out in the field. Then what he is doing? He is doing a unique thing. A product designer solve a problem with his innovative product. All these things involve what? Creativity. Now, types of creative thinking. There are different ways when we are using those different ways, then we are saying that we are using the creative thinking. The first one is divergent thinking. Divergent thinking is totally different from the convergent thinking. When we are talking about the divergent thinking, means we are thinking in a different manner. We are thinking a different solutions to a problem. When we are thought of doing a divergent thinking, means we are exploring multiple perspective with flexibility, means there will be no rigidness, fluency and originality to find a solution for a problem. We are using different ways, different means to solve a problem when we are talking about the divergent thinking. Divergent thinking is totally different from the convergent thinking. In the convergent thinking, we only focus on what has already been done before. But in divergent thinking, we try to apply new things to get the solution of the problem. Now, next one is lateral thinking. Now, what is a lateral thinking? It's a manner of solving a problem. Means a problem will be solved through this using an indirect or creative approach. Means what you are using? You are using different ideas. You will exploring new ideas, new thought process, so that you will able to get the solution of that problem using indirect and creative approach by reasoning that is not immediately obvious. Means You are exploring new ideas that has not been used previously, and you are using something new, innovative ideas to get the solution of the problem. Exploring new ideas, thinking outside the box means no, you are not thinking in a convergent manner, you are thinking in a divergent manner. Avoiding clutches, aesthetic thinking, when you appreciate the beauty. When we are appreciating the beauty means we have the aesthetic sense. Now what is aesthetic thinking? An individual capacity to appreciate the art, the beauty in nature. Then we are saying that that person has the aesthetic thinking. Visual thinking, with the use of structure, color, compositions to achieve aesthetic beauty, means you have the uh, appreciation for beauty, for the colors, means you have the ability to appreciate something. And when you have that thing, means you have the aesthetic thinking. System thinking, identify an interrelation between things and viewing them from a 360-degree perspective. Now that expand the ranges of choice, means you are expanding the ranges of choice which can be the various solutions of a problem available for solving a problem. Means you are not following a particular way to get a solution of the problem. You are exploring the range, you are expanding the range of choices available for solving a problem. By broadening overthinking, man, you have to broad up your thinking. When then only you will expand the range of choices. When you will narrow your thinking, then the choices will not be there. Means if you want a range of choices to solve a problem, then you have to broaden your thinking process, and that type of thinking process is called the system thinking. Now, identify an interrelation between things and viewing them from a 360-degree perspective means you will able to solve that problem, and helping you to solve problems in a new and a different way. And when you are using these things, means you are creatively thinking in a different manner from other people. Now, inspirational thinking means light bulb movement inspired by great personality or insightful thoughts. Mean you are inspired by some thought process of a great personality, that are called inspirational thinking. Abstract thinking, when you are not thinking in a concrete manner, thinking in terms of objects, principles, and experiences that may not be physically or materially present, means that thing is not concretely in before you. That is called the abstract thinking. Design thinking, applying strategy, problem solving, and decision making to the process of design, means you are applying different techniques, you are solving different problems in a different manner. And decision making, you are coming to a decision to the process of design. Now, fostering creative thinking in schools. How you will develop creative thinking in schools, that is very important. Because you have to implement the curriculum, and while implementing the curriculum, it is the duty of the teacher to develop creative thinking in their learners at the time of teaching learning process. Creative teacher versus teachers teaching for creativity. Now, what is that? Creative teaching. Now you are teaching in a creative manner, versus teaching for creativity means you want to develop creativity in your students, or more properly, teaching for creative thinking. Or when we are saying that teaching for creativity means teaching for creative thinking means you want to develop divergent thinking, you want to develop uh, in the student the aesthetic thinking. The student should come up with new and original ideas. Flexibility should be there in their creative thinking. So when these things will come up, the teacher will say that creative thinking is developing in the students. Now, creative teaching, focusing on the teacher. Now, when we are talking about a teaching, creative teaching, the creative teacher is focusing on the teacher and his or her planning for encouragement. Means the focus area will be on the teacher when we are talking about the creative teaching, and his her planning for encouragement, interest, Motivation, understanding, inclusion, support, and enthusiasm. Means the whole focus is on the teacher and the planning which is made by the teacher for his teaching learning process. Teaching for creativity. Now, the second thing is teaching for creativity means you are trying to develop creative thinking among the students while your teaching learning process. Teaching for creativity focuses on the students. Now, the main important thing is student. What the student thinks, how we can develop creative thinking in schools, and the extent to which their own creative thinking is being developed. Means now the focus is on students, and as a teacher, my role is to develop creative thinking in students can be developed, how it should be developed. Means the whole focus area is on the students. Now, design thinking mindset, what does competency look like? Now, collaborative. When we are making a group of students in which they are uh, engaged together to learn something, engages with other from different backgrounds and viewpoints. Now, different backgrounds means different learning strategies. Some students can be of above average intelligence, some can be from average intelligence or the below intelligence, and their learning strategies, different learning strategies. So collaborative, we are making a group in which they will cooperatively making a learning process done. Engages with other, they will engage with other individuals from different backgrounds, those who have different learning strategies, different interests, different habits and viewpoints, and different viewpoints on different things. Curious to know new something. Show interest in things that are not understood. Means you are curious to know each and everything, and you are showing interest in things that are not understood by you. Open mindset means you have, when we are talking about creativity, you should be open minded. You cannot be narrow in your thinking process. Can address problems over a number of field of limited scope. And now when you are open minded, now you can address problems over a number of fields. For me, uh, various fields, the problems which are arising in different fields, you can able to address on each and every problem. Bias towards action. When you are biased toward action, then creativity will not be developed in the students. Create some prototypes to move project forward. Now, what is that? We have to be unbiased when we want to develop creativity among the students. Now, what is prototype? Means a sample, a model, or relevance of a product built to text, concept, or process. Means we will develop a sample, we will develop a model, and in this way, a concept has been framed. Complexity, that is not simple. Address complex problem. When we are talking about the creative mind, we are talking about the creative thinking. They try to address complex problems that arises in front of them. Means they are not afraid of the complex situations. Now, collaborate effectively as a team member. Means all the members of the group should work in cooperation and should be effectively contributing something to the solution of the problem with others from diverse backgrounds and viewpoints. Okay. Now, curious, demonstrate deep interest in things. Means you have to show deep interest in things that are not understood by you, and see things from a fresh perspective. Then only you will get new solutions to the problem. If you will look to a problem from the older perspective, then new solutions will not come in your mind. And when we are talking about the creative thinking, you have to think of different or the various solutions of a problem. Open mindset, effectively tackle problems regardless of the field or scope. Divergent thinking, Effectively tackle problems means you will able to tackle problems in a effective manner, regardless of the field of any problem, whether it will be the field of education or it will be the field of pharmacy or medical or law, or the scope will be wider. Divergent thinking means you are not thinking in a convergent way, means you are not thinking in a way in which all other peoples are thinking. Bias towards action creates prototypes and physical embodiments of ideas and actions that effectively move project forward, means you will come to a new sample or a new concept will be developed. Complexity creates clarity through complexity. Now, ready, steady, go. Deep creative thinking means when you want to develop deeper creative thinking amongst the students, means you want that skill to be developed in your students. Can only be fostered means it can only be developed. If preparatory skills means skills that are already known, ready, the students are ready for that, and knowledge have been understood and they have the knowledge of that particular thing, then only the creative thinking can be developed among them. Now, the next is the definition, or you can say the explanation given by Barron and Garrett in 2010 about the creative thinking. Now, what he is saying, creativity and subject knowledge means you want to develop creativity as well as other thing that is important, that the student have the knowledge of the subject. Reinforces and enhances creativity. Help me now. What is that? Teaching for creativity, when it will develop, when the teacher is not in the focus area, the student in the focus area. Now, when we are trying to develop teaching for creativity, we have to think of the divergent thinking, how the students can think of a different problems. We should motivate them, we should be flexible in our teaching learning process. Teaching for creativity help me means how it will help the learner. Subject content targets and reinforces and encourages creativity, and this circle will continue and creativity and subject knowledge will be developed in the student. Now, Karen, in 2006, study sought to determine what characteristics creative thinking schools and identify several key elements for fostering it. Means what is that? He has identified several elements that are necessary for developing creative thinking among the students. Posing questions means that they are free to ask questions. Pedagogies, different pedagogies should be there. Impression and making connections, being imaginative, the student should be imagine something. Innovation, a new idea should be developed. Risk taking, when we are talking about this creative child, he has the ability to take risk. Now, why he has the ability to take risk? Because then only he will able to use different approaches to solve a problem. He will come to a solution only after thinking on different ways. He will not use the traditional ways to get the solution of the problem. If you do not have the ability of taking risk, then what will you use? You will use the traditional method of getting the solution of the problem done. But when you are a creative child, when creative thinking will be developed in you, then a risk taking attitude will be there. Now, in the risk taking attitude, what will happen? You will try to solve a problem by using various approaches or various way. Self determination means you are self determined, that I will able to solve this problem, I will able to develop a new concept, I will able to uh, imply a new innovative idea in front of us. This only work when teacher can allow people, and these things will means the creativity will be developed, creative thinking will be developed in the teach students only when the teacher will apply time and space to experience the core element. When the teacher will give time and space to experience is the core element. Then only creative thinking will be developed in the learners or the students. Now, creative learning opportunities too means when we are trying to develop creative learning among the students while implementing the curriculum, first thing what should we do as a teacher? Creative thinking and problem solving. First, hands-on task means we should give them learning by doing. Means they will gain knowledge by doing something. We are not encouraging them to learn something, but we are encouraging them to learn or gain something by doing an activity. Questions, we are make them free. We are make learners free to ask questions as much as they want. When I, as a teacher, I want to develop creativity in my students, experiment. I will make my teaching learning process flexible. If they want to do some experiments, I will encourage them to do so. Debates, I will organize debates in the teaching learning process from time to time so that their new innovative ideas can be developed and their viewpoints can be developed related to that particular problem, or the new solutions of a problem can be arise through the debates or the discussions. Now the next one is discussion. Now in the debate, we will give some topics to the students. On the topic, they will discuss with their classmates or the roommates or the friends, and on the basis of the discussion, the new thought process will be encouraged or motivated in them. The teacher will motivate them for the discussion to give their viewpoints so they can easily or simply give their viewpoints without any rigidness or what the teacher will think. There should be flexibility. A flexibility should be given by the teacher in the teaching learning process, and the teacher should encourage original thoughts. The teacher should motivate them to give their original thoughts. Games, the teacher can organize some games which will encourage their creative thinking. Computing means the computers means the teacher can use the computer abilities thinking things to develop creativity in the students. Now, questioning for creative thinking. Now, importance of giving students opportunities to ask means you will not the students are free to ask questions in the teaching learning process. Uh, Opportunities to ask and answer questions. Now, what is that? You have to make your teaching learning process flexible. In that flexible mode of teaching, you will give importance to the students that they can ask questions, they can give answers to the questions, and in this way you will able to develop creative thinking among the students. Not just any question, different type of questions. Not that these particular questions will be only asked in the teaching learning process. No, you will make free students to ask any question from any thing while they are teaching learning process. Produce different kinds of thinking and has different type of answers. When you will produce, when the classmates will produce different type of questions, then different type of answers will also arise. Questioning for a purpose, focus questions. Now, questioning for a purpose. Now, your purpose should be to develop creative thinking among the students. Certain questions stimulate creative thinking. Means while asking them the questions, you must think as a teacher that creative thinking should be developed among the students. Why does slight apple go rusty? Means these type of questions start the thinking process among the students, and they will give their answers according to their viewpoints. Now, assess, evaluate, or recognize. How these things can be done when we are talking about the creativity, when we are trying to implement the creativity among the curriculum. Some people think that assessing creativity is wrong. Now, what is that? Now, evaluating, measuring creativity is wrong. Some people say that how much creative you are, how means I am assessing your creativity is something that is not considered by them as the correct one. They say that what they say, we cannot know what creativity means, so we could never measure it. Means as a teacher, uh, uh, I am not able to define what creativity is. So how can I judge or measure the creativity of other people? Now, next one is assessing someone creative efforts will suppress their creativity. Means what? A new innovative idea has been developed by you, and if I am measuring, I am evaluating that creative thing that has been developed by you, then what will happen? It will suppress your creativity. We cannot assess something when the answer might not be what we expect. Means when we are making students free to think in a creative manner, then different solutions will arise of a different problem. Then you might not say that you will give answer what I expect. No, you will give answers according to your thinking process, according to your viewpoint. What do you think? Now you have to tell me whether creativity should be assessed, measure, evaluate, or recognize. In mathematics, the students are asked to find out how many leaves are there on the tree. Means as a teacher, you will ask the students that tell me how many leaves are there on the tree. Hence, the process invented by the student is more important. Means in the creativity, in the developing the creative thinking among the students, we are more focused on the process, what process they will apply to get the answer of that problem. We are not focused on the product or the outcome. Here the process invented by the student to get the answer how many leaves are there on the tree is more important than the product. Then the product, ma'am, 100 leaves are there. No, this is not important. This is not focus. The important thing which on which the teacher is more focused is the process, how they will able to get the answers, how many leaves are there on the tree, the number of leaves. Okay, so we are focusing on the process when we are talking about the creativity and not on the product or the outcome. Evidence from the process means you will get to know the creative abilities, the creative thinking of the student during the process which they have adapted to get the solutions of the problem. The student does something in order to produce something or solve a problem. The process, what can it tell us? Now, the process which will be applied by the student, what it can tell us first, what what the student does. For example, does he explore the task? Means whether the student tried to explore the task, the problem which he was given by the teacher. Does she change to another approach when the one approach fails? Now, what the teacher is trying to observe that as a student, I will use a approach. If I fail, I will demotivated and I will said no, I will not able to get the solution of that problem. But when a creative child will be there, he fails in one approach, he will try another approach to get the solution of the problem. Does he consider how fit for purpose the idea is? Means he is in the thinking process. Does she try to improve an idea? Does he uses different methods or the different strategies to improve the idea? Does he show persistence? These can be the evidences which are helpful for the teacher to know whether the students are developing their creative thinking or not. Every lesson can involve creativity. We cannot say only these chapters will develop creativity among the students. No, every chapter involve creativity. Challenge children to think. Now, what is important that we ask the students to think. When the students start thinking, then creativity will automatically develop. Being a creative teacher is only part of the process. Means when we are saying that I am a creative teacher, then only a part of the I am a part only of the process of the creativity in the classroom. When designing learning experiences, when the teacher is designing, when the teacher is planning the teaching learning process, then he must design the learning experiences which the learner will get. Teacher can plan and frame curriculum, means the teacher can plan and frame curriculum accordingly, so that creative thinking should be developed among the students, and provide tools that give students options, various ways, voice, and choice in order to enable them to be creative. Step up learning activities that allow students to explore their creativity in relevant, interesting, and worthwhile ways. Classroom examples can be used for developing or setting up learning activities. Fourth grade students are presented with a sample of rocks. Means as a teacher, you have taught them that these are the different rocks. Now, what as to develop the creativity, what as a teacher you can do? Uh, are presented with a sample of rocks. You will present them with a sample of rocks. They are to diverse test to determine what kind of rocks they have based on the definition they have studied. Means you have given them the samples of rocks, and then the student have to determine what kind of rocks they have. Now, based on the definition they have studied, means the teacher has make them understand the concept of rocks. Now they have to determine what kind of rocks they have on the basis of the knowledge which they have already. Students find their own ways to determine differences in hardness, colors, and shapes. Now, what they will use, they will try to find out that these are the rocks on the basis of the previous knowledge. Now, students find their own ways, they will apply their own approaches, their own strategies to get the answers, what type of rocks they have. uh, Students find their own ways to determine differences now on the basis of hardness, color, and shapes. Value creativity and celebrate and reward it, means the teacher should give importance to the creativity, and it should reward the student for its creativity. Means the teacher should encourage the creative ideas or the creative thinking among the student. Classroom example: third grade students are learning about polygons, and to see if they know the concept, the teacher take them outside and give each student a sidewalk chalk. Means the teacher wants to know whether they have the learned the concept or not. Each student is given the task of drawing several examples of polygons on the driveway. Means the teacher asks them to draw several examples of polygon. Once the student have accomplished this, when they have completed this task, the teacher tells the student to transform their shapes into something they love. Now, what they will ask, they have developed various examples or several examples of polygons on the driveway. Now what the teacher will ask them to, the teacher will ask them to transform those shapes into something they love. The student want to show everyone their geometric based kittens, robots, and dragons, and then have an opportunity to explain to the whole class why they like them. And in this way, the teacher will develop creativity in among the students. Teach students on the other skills they need to be creative. Classroom example: a second grade class is learning about the concept of freezing, how the thing freezed. The teacher asks one questions to get them started. Does only water freeze? Now the teacher is starting the questioning. Now it will start the thinking process of the student. The student then design an experiment to determine what other thing freeze. Now when this question is asked by the teacher, then what will start, the thinking of the student will start, and they will try to get the answer on the basis of the experiment. Now the limit is that they can only use what they have in the classroom at the time. Now one limitation will be there, that they will try to determine what other things freeze other than water, but they have to use, or they can use only those things which are available in the classroom. The students come up with a list of things that will leave outside to see if they freeze: water, juice, vinegar, glass, glue, toothpaste, paper. Some suggestions they decide are already solid and should not go outside: pencils, erasers, and books. The next day they discuss their finding. Now, next day they will come in the class, they will discuss what thing freezes and what the things are do not freeze, and have engaging conversation. They will start discussing, they will start uh, giving their viewpoints about why the paper is stiff and the vinegar has not frozen. Now they will give the teacher will encourage them in the conversation. They will encourage them to give their viewpoint, and they will start giving their opinion. The initial discussion among students about what might feel freeze fosters skills such as advocating for one ideas and comparison. Now, what will that fosters skills such as advocating for one ideas means they are advocate their own ideas, what they think, and comparison. Now they will compare their ideas with other people. The follow-up discussion encourage deductive reasoning and active listening. And after that, giving their ideas and comparing it with other ideas, the follow-up discussion will be had, and it will encourage them for deductive reasoning. That means to think in a new and innovative manner. And active listening means they will listen what other students say. Remove constraints for creativity and give the students space and a framework in which they can be creative. Classroom example: a sixth grade class produces Halloween costume players. In order to wear costumes to school, the student have to write a play that incorporate each of their character into a plot and then present the play. Now, these type of plays a teacher can organize in a school. The teacher will or ask the students to wear costumes to school. Means they will uh, come to the school wearing those costumes. The which character they like. The student have to write a play. They will write a play that incorporate each of their characteristics which are present in the class into a plot, into a play, and then present the play. For instance, they have to come up with how a giant soda can and the superhero Wonder Woman will interact. The student love the challenge, and this in this way they will write a play on the basis of the characters that are present in the class, and the student will love the challenge. And in this way, the teacher will try to develop creative thinking among the students. Now, these are some references which you can go through to learn this topic more better. For your reading, these you can refer these references. Now, uh, now let us discuss some MCQs based on the topic we have discussed today, as MCQs are the best tools to measure the most important educational outcomes. Now, the first one is dash is the most difficult thinking skill to acquire and also the most sought after. A1 is creativity, B upload, C reinforcement, D application. Now, the correct answer is creativity. Creativity always start with dash, and history show that many things we imagine are later actually created. Now this is what: A imagination, B learning, C ability, or the D application. So the correct answer is imagination. Creativity starts with imagination. Creating is the highest order of dash. It should be in the forefront of all learning environments and goal. Now the A option is thinking, B learning, C application, or D imagination. The correct one is thinking. Creating is the highest order of thinking. Fourth one is the student does something in order to produce something or solve a problem in dash. A creativity, B learning, C application, or D imagination. So the student does something in order to produce something or solve a problem in creativity. Deep creative thinking can only be fostered if dash skills and problems have been understood. A. Preparatory, B. Secondary, C. Primary, or D. Legally. The correct answer is preparatory. Sixth one is the ability to think in dash and useful way is one of the defining feature of the human species. The ability to think in noble way, B. Upload, C. Reinforcement, or the D. Application. So the correct answer is noble. The ability to think in noble and useful way is one of the defining feature of the human species. Sixth one is Seventh, who stated that anyone who is imagining how things could be other than they are be thinking creatively. The first one is Caterus, B. Bacon, C. Jackson, D. Crow and Crow. So the correct answer is A. Teaching for creativity focuses on the dash and the extent to which their own creative thinking is being developed. A. Student, B. Individual, C. Group, or D. Personal. So, teaching for creativity focuses on the students. Ninth one is dash effectively as a team member with others from diverse backgrounds and viewpoints. So, A. Collaborators, B. Learners, C. Group, D. Application. So, the correct answer is collaborators. Tenth one is dash means demonstrate deep interest in thinking that are not understood and see things from a fresh perspective. Now A is collaborators, B learners, C curious, or D open-minded. So the correct answer is curious. The C one means demonstrate deep understanding in things that are not understood and think see things from a fresh perspective. Thank you so much. So, thank you, students, with a particular narration. You I try to understand, you make you understand what is creativity, what is creative thinking, and how a teacher can foster creativity in their teaching learning process, and that make their students a creative child. Thank you so much.